Greetings, fellow stalwarts and pilgrims. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens. Episode 7, Emergency Measures. The first thing I want you early birds to do is to vote in an emergency measure. Axios has proposed a disturbing suggestion. He suggests cremating corpses within the walls as a method to heat the base. We can either allow the measure to pass without caveats or restrictions, restrict the emergency measure for winter months only, and under the condition he's solely responsible for the project, or deny the emergency measure and maintain sanity within the colony. I'll give you 1 minute to vote in this emergency measure poll. And it bears reminding that consequences aren't necessarily spelled out. Consequences very well might arise as a result of polling, even unforeseen ones. This measure, of course, isn't strictly stalwarts versus pilgrims. Neither factions want this measure to pass. It's grisly and somewhat inhumane, but whether you deem it necessary or not can be left up to you. Okay, the measure has passed with restrictions. Axios will be responsible for maintaining the heating procedures, and that will become the next voted goal to work towards once installation into our defenses is achieved. So as a reminder, we're trying to add heaters to the two areas here. Might just do one heater here for now, for the sake of components and steel, but so that we can defend our base and not freeze at the same time. Alright, Zeusin, your frostbite is healing up. I'm trying to be very careful as to not lose any digits due to frostbite. That would be pretty brutal. And we're going to continue with the smithing research project for now, until the battery power can recover a little bit more. We are in the deepest winter months at the moment, which means our heating needs are much higher, hence the power needs being much higher than normal. And it's not actually all that warm in the base at the moment. It's just warm enough that the plants won't die off. It's like a bare minimum warmth. Yeah, the polls were fairly evenly split. Indeed. So there's more doors, walls, and other pieces of this project to be built. And I'm just trying to keep a close watch on our colonists so they don't wander off into the cold and succumb. It is still negative 82 Celsius. So it's just about as cold as we'd ever want it to be. Nobla just got an inspired recruitment. Not that we have prisoners. And I am zoning our 2 constructors into the base, because it's honestly just far too cold for them to venture out. Once they drop their hypothermia... Yeah, okay. It's dropped enough. Rogadog, you are starving, and that's because you were sent to the wrong meals. Yikes. Oh, you know what? Actually, that is kind of incorrect. It was that Rogadog brought in fine meals, and they were offered up to the pilgrims, because Rogadog is a pilgrim. But I hadn't opened up the opportunity for Rogadog to eat normal meals. There we go. You are nourished. What is your hypothermia at? 27? Yeah, you should probably get right back to base. Oh, I'd also like to doubly insulate this section as well. So I'm going to do this full wall run here. Knowing that... Actually, no, I guess there's no point, because this is open. Nabla. Ooh, that's not good. Fishpick proposed. Oh, and we are getting attacked from above. To make matters worse. So the Godless is dropping right on top of us, and we can see their targeted spots pretty clearly here. I think the plan is to defend within as best as we are able. It's an even fight, and that includes meaning leaving the door open. Zeusin is ready to spring into action, as is Rogadog. Rogadog's getting shot in the leg, gonna be hard to get to cover as a result. Fishpick is getting shot a lot, so I'm gonna have him fall back, ditch into cover. Rogadog's finally in cover. Nabla is getting hit quite a bit. I think we just have to risk it. And then Zeusin just took a barrage as well. No one is doing all that well at the moment. They have much faster firing weapons, which is a bit of a disadvantage. Okay, so we have won. But it was very bloody. Dropping on top of us is a big problem. There is one silver lining, which is that we were given some medicine. And also... we also managed to get some slag and some corpses. Doing some quick patch-ups. Because obviously this guy is going to be busting the wall down. So Zeusin, let's get you inside. And close the doors as we move in. Alright, scheduling everyone to inside. And I'm also going to schedule them or issue a bed rest order. I am having everyone that was holding good medicine to drop it on the ground so that Axios has access to higher quality meds so that we recover quicker. Alright, got a go frenzy as a result of getting hurt. Masochism is a weird thing. Alright, people are patched up. Nabla, preach health to Zeusin. I guess getting shot and stabbed gets your mind off of rejected proposals, I suppose. And everybody that is currently wounded, because of the movement speed penalties from blood loss and injury, are going to be restricted to indoors and inside for now. I'm going to see about getting some roof back up. It honestly doesn't make too much difference, but can't hurt. And at least our doors are closed. So the destination for this heater's down there. I just built it in place here. And actually, Axios probably wouldn't hurt rather, to clean up all the blood. So Axios, as required by the emergency measure, is responsible for the corpses. It was his radical idea, and he is taking responsibility for that. There's some repairs that needs doing, but most of the emergency stuff has been managed. Got lucky with those injuries. They could have been a lot worse. Now, I would like to try to get the slag smelted, but I don't want to draw down the batteries too much. I'm going to quickly swap out the stove for the smelter. And then as soon as the moving penalties are not so bad, I can let those that are wounded move about again. I believe Zeusin Yeah, and Nabla still don't move fast enough to warrant them leaving the bed. Well, that's not going to be helpful. The slag got smelted. Perfect. Flick this off. And swap it. I'd like to get back to deep drilling research so that we can start acquiring resources that would otherwise be difficult for us to get. Oh, and yes, of course, no respite. So they are preparing a while, which means that probably we won't have to do very much to negate their attacks. It depends on their insulation levels. At least 2 of them are going to succumb to frostbite, like, very fast. Lucky here is not going to be that lucky. So we do have a valid path into the base. And I don't love the idea of having injured people fight, but I don't see a reasonable alternative either. So we're mustering. Fish Pickles is getting the heater and bringing it in to try to help with the temp that's in here. And then I'm going to send him back to warm for now, staying out of trouble. Alright, we do have one that was downed, Body Purist. In terms of their supplies, one does have packaged survival meals. Lucky, did you just fall over dead up here somewhere? Yes, you did. Okay, I kind of suspected you would. Darcy is downed as well. Ollie made it out. Power's off. It didn't change the temperature a lot, but I still think it's ultimately going to be pretty useful to have a potentially heated defending area. Okay, most are fully healed. Zeuson's getting up there. Nobla's lagging behind because she didn't, of course, be able to preach health to herself. Oh, I did not mean for the stove to be flicked on. I think I am going to use the high-tech research bench today and try to do more deep drilling. I think I missed a hydrate from Kilgore, so cheers. Alright, Pragadog, I don't want you going in there. Failed to notice. So Fish Pickles, you are getting kind of hypothermic. Axios, go back to warm. I think you'll be okay. Yeah, I think you'll be alright. That's an unintended consequence of allowing people stay warm within the base, is repairing the walls while still outside. Very chilly. You know what I just realized? My researchers are still sort of bedridden, so Nabla... Let's set bed rest to 4 for all of them, so that Nabla can actually, you know, go do research. I think in terms of, area design, I may intend to create another room here, which is to be determined about what it is. But just so that we have more airlocks before the center of our base is breached. So now that we have at least a little bit of current insulation defenses, maybe I'll put a pause to that. The current priority is Axios build. Axios is corpse crematorium. And it's the 11th of December, so that means we are nearly out of winter. And the emergency measure only passed in the case that we need to burn corpses in the winter. So we've nearly survived our first winter, making the emergency measure kind of moot. If you're wondering, the net result of the emergency measure is mood penalties to both factions. So everybody here has a negative mood modifier for their ideology. Or they should, if it's working. Oof. Apparently it's not working. It should be. I might have to debug that. Oh, an eclipse. I don't think we're going to see record cold temps, but we might. Now, with one more mouth to feed, with Bragadog having joined, we do have to be a little mindful about keeping the benches active, because it's entirely possible that we run out of food as a result, and cannibalism is just not permitted in our... I mean, I suppose there is always the chance for an emergency measure, but for now, it is not permitted, meaning that butchering, you know, other humans is not something you're going to see us do, really, under any circumstance. So in terms of the corpse room, we're going to need some more material. Is that the center point? Yeah, let me fix this. For now, we are not going to haul corpses. And the plan is to line this area with corpses so that we can burn them on demand for or heat. And once this is built, Axios is going to be the only one to be granted access to this area. The deep winter cold is finally breaking. It is slightly warming up. Not by much, but a little. And the corpse stockpile is taking form. Some of the corpses are being hauled where they probably shouldn't, but because the project isn't done, I'm not going to set any restrictions to the zoning yet. And it looks like we are finally got enough free time on our hands to do some shoveling. The idea, of course, was to remove a bunch of the snow, because snow makes you move really slow, and because we have a roofed up base, there really isn't a call to have snow within it, and rather just have it be ice or even stonework once we can afford that. Probably should get in the habit of not leaving this on overnight. But happy that Nabla is making progress into deep drilling. All the same. This room isn't quite warm enough to prevent the work slowdown speed as a result of the frozen temperatures, but she's not going to get hypothermia in there, which counts for a lot. Now, I'm willing to guess we are not getting any additional limestone, and that's because there isn't limestone within our area that we can reach. But now that we aren't experiencing the deepest of winter temperatures, I'll allow colonists to venture a little bit further. Well, it's still actually really, really cold. I'll still allow them to venture out so that they can be productive. I'll just have to keep a very close eye on them to make sure that they are not staying out there beyond their ability to withstand the outside temps. Then Axios, I'm going to set you to close. So we're hauling the corpses in. Or corpse heat, and then limestone. We definitely need that limestone door, though, as that is a vulnerability. Yeah, you're almost seriously hypothermic. It's hard to get work done. We get hypothermic so fast. But I believe this chunk is going to be enough to build the door, and then we'll have an enclosed base once again. So right at the moment, it's technically outside. Keeping a close eye on the batteries. I'll try to do my best to turn them off at night so that the battery drain isn't so bad for Zeus'in. And Noblo's research. Come on, I have enough limestone now. Oh, it is not an allowed area. That would explain a lot. What's the purpose of the door? The door so that Axios can load the corpse from the outside. And now that that is done, none of my colonists will go to this area. This is a forbidden zone, except for Axios. So I'm updating the zones. In fact, what I'll do is I am going to delete the Axios zone, copy the closed zone, rename this to Axios again, so they have overlapping zones, and allow Axios access to that. So Axios wants to test the prototype and see if it is any good. So right now it is, yeah, it's warming up. Not a ton, but it's warming up a little bit within the walls. And it'll warm up more if the defenses doors are shut. Now this door will never be shut. What we can do in lieu of that door is to airlock it so that less of our warm air escapes. So it warmed it up about 20 degrees over ambient. It's not like an extreme amount, but it will help to keep us from being hypothermic within our walls, allowing us to clean and possibly pave the area and the like. You impressed it was that effective? Yeah, it was oddly effective. A mysterious cache installation? Okay, that's nearby, but we would not be able to survive that. Oh, Pragadog is cooking. That's technically allowed, although I am concerned. And then the purpose of these sections is so that I can choose to burn a certain amount without having to burn all. It's not an all or nothing. It's like 4 different sections that can be individually selected for the amount of heat that we want to generate. So now I'm trying to generate max amount of heat just to test the concept. And the big question is, how long do we retain that heat once it's burned? Because we are now 60 degrees above ambient, but it's probably going to bounce back quite quickly, just as a result of the frigid temperatures that we typically experience. So it's very effective, but it's just very grisly. And weighs pretty heavily on our our colonists in terms of mood. Alright, battery power is looking pretty bad, but deep drilling is actually quite close to being completed. So I'm hopeful that that there's big progress to be made there. So I am going to schedule everyone behind the walls. And the behind the walls has to be updated to not allow some of the newer areas. And what I'm hoping to do is to clean up some of the snow and to clean up the blood around the generator. Doing the shoveling and the like. We're going to have to conserve power for a bit. So I'm going to change my research project from deep drilling back to smithing, and to keep the high-tech research bench off. So I would say about, after about 6 to 8 hours, the temperature snaps back to what it was previously. It doesn't seem like the effects last for very long, in other words. Now that the corpse crematorium is built, priority poll. What to build next, as you can see up there, is up to you. I'll give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that. So, we can build 2 small faction meeting halls, one for the stalwarts and one for the pilgrims. We could build additional defenses. We could try to improve the living conditions for the colonists within the Ark, or viewer suggestions, opening it up to you guys. And snow removal looks about right. Cheers. So I'm keeping everyone home intentionally, just because we don't need a ton of stone cut right now. Just to try to clear up the blood and the snow. Looks good. Now a mad dash for limestone. It's the last day of winter. Here's to hoping winter actually clears and we start to get somewhat warmer temperatures so that the perpetual frigid horribleness that our dear colonists endure subsides. Naming some of the zones, just so that I know what they are when they're hauling to it. And marriage is on. Novel and Fishpick finally agreed, and they're not divided on it. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, which originally streamed live on Twitch, January 26th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors on the ice floe.